speeding on pit road earlier. He needs a caution. Meanwhile, his teammate is thinking about the lead. Crafton looking outside on Dillon off of turn 2.
He needs a caution. Another really fast truck is a 77 of Armand Quiroga. He needs a caution as well. He's got to get to pit road and fix that damage.
We had heard that the 9 truck was being posted for speeding on pit road, coming in the pits. Did not go to the back of the pack. Now he's being posted. He's dropping bad now. Dropping back now. He's actually going to come to pit road. Probably will have a pass-through penalty because he didn't go to the back of the pack for the restart.
NASCAR gives you plenty of warning about where you belong on the restart. Obviously, he didn't heed that warning, and now he finds himself on the lead lap prior to that caution, and all of that's out the window.
Great battle at the front here for the lead. Austin Dillon and Matt Crafton. And now running third is Kyle Busch, and right behind him, Tyler Reddick, who's trying to get his career best tonight. Finishing out the top 5, Jeb Burton.
Remember, we've watched that short run speed out of Matt Crafton in that yellow number 88 truck. Looks like he has it again, trying to go after Austin Dillon.
That 54 truck of Darrell Wallace Jr. inside the top 10 is 7th. Remember, he had the problems with his tire, came down pit road. At one point was scored 2 laps down, but here he finds himself inside the top 10 with 29 to go.
Matt Crafton chooses an extremely different line than the truck that's leading of Austin Dillon and the one in second or third of Kyle Busch going for second. Kyle to the bottom of the track. Matt found his truck to feel better up in the middle of the road.
Remember, we talked to Austin Dillon at the very top of the show. Said he's been the only guy that's been able to beat that 51 of Kyle Busch here at this racetrack in a truck. Kyle's won 3 of the 4 attempts that he's made. Austin said he thought he had a good enough truck to race with him. He's going to have to race with him now.
Matt Crafton riding in the 3rd position, and how about this? 2 times the driver that has won this race went on to win the championship. Austin Dillon, who did it in 2011, and James Busher, not competing tonight, who did it a couple of years ago.
If this race were to end something like it's running right now, a big point swing, I think we'll have a swap up front for ThorSport teammates.
Look at the battle for the lead. Dillon's able to hold off Kyle Busch, and that's allowing Matt Crafton to close right in on these guys. He didn't just drive up there and make quick work of our leader, did he? Kyle Busch is having to work this. The truck of Armand Quiroga looks like he's going to need repairs. They tried to just catch a quick caution, but it didn't happen, and now he's going to lose a lot of ground.
Kyle Busch has led more laps than anyone tonight, despite the fact that he started
way better than
dead last.
Keep your head on here, deep breath. We'll work inch by inch, up to 25 to go.
49 circuits out front for that 51, and the man who's got the top spot right now, Austin Dillon, will have led 20 laps when he comes back by the start-finish line.
How long of a time is 25 laps when you've got Kyle Busch eating at your tailgate? That's an eternity that you're trying to drive the perfect line. Hold your truck exactly where it needs to be to keep the faster trucks behind you. Austin Dillon so far is doing an amazing job of holding those trucks off.
It looks like Austin's truck is really good down in 1 and 2. Kyle Busch's truck may be a little bit better down here in 3 and 4. Austin's going to come down close to the bottom. Kyle's going to stay in the middle of the racetrack. We have a lap truck here right in front of them.
I just like that Matt Crafton's not going away. And you mentioned it, Michael, as these two battle for the lead, it's allowing Matt Crafton to hang right there.
And there's Tyler Reddick and our 5th place truck, Hermie Sadler. That's Jeb Burton. He's hanging right in with these leaders as well.
Michael, it's been a roller coaster night so far for Jeb Burton in that 13. Had a great starting position, pretty good at the start of the race, but had a Romeo window, one of the downforce type windows on the side of this truck, kind of a quarter glass that you see on these trucks right behind the driver's compartment. That window came loose. He had to come down pit road, get that repaired, doing a pit stop, went to the back of the pack, worked his way back up. And the last time on pit road, he needed a big adjustment. He was able to do it because not many trucks were on pit road. They took wedge into the right rear and put 2 spring rubbers into the left rear, trying to get this truck tightened up for Jeb Burton. Right now, he's holding on for a top 5.
And Hermie, at one time, he was running as low as 21st in this race. So the fact that he has worked his way back up to 5th, quite impressive.
That guy right there running second, the 51 truck, at one time was 32nd in this race at the initial start.
Yeah, it's been no problem for Kyle Busch here tonight. Started dead last because Eric Jones, who practiced the truck here on Thursday, So since Kyle had not been in the machine and qualifying was rained out yesterday, it meant he had to go to the tail of the field, and he made quick work of him, getting inside the top 5 by lap 30, and he's been a player ever since.
Austin Dillon's just trying to drive 21 perfect laps here, and that's exactly what he's going to have to do to win this race. And Austin's certainly capable of that. We saw him make a great run up at Pocono and winning, and our former champion, this cat can get it done. He's got his hands full now, though.
Adam, as you told us, he's never finished out of the top 10 in anything he's ever driven here at this racetrack.
Looked like Busch to the inside, got Dillon a little bit loose, but Austin was able to hold on to it and hold on to the lead.
Just barely.
So Austin Dillon stays out front as we go to our Camping World 20 to go in the Lucas Oil 225, 15th race of the year for the tailgaters. 6th time they've been to the Chicagoland Speedway. And 4 of the 5 previous trips, the man that has gone to victory lane represented among the 2 drivers that are out front here. Austin Dillon got it done in 2011, and 3 times Kyle Busch has gotten the trophy in this race.
And Matt Crafton's not going anywhere. He's lost 2 or 3 truck links, but that's about it. Keeping an eye on this battle for the lead.
You know, Ryan Blaney took the wave around, restarted back in the 13th position. Not a lot of movement for the 29. He scored in the 12th spot. Been on quite a roll lately, has Blaney. Got that truck win in Canada and 3 consecutive top 5 finishes in nationwide competition, driving that 22 car for Team Penske, including that win at Bristol, Tennessee.
I have to believe that Ryan Blaney has some sort of an issue right now. He's being shown over 17 seconds behind right now.
Another guy that has a bit of an issue is our point leader coming in, Johnny Sauter. We talked about him losing 2 laps because of that mistake coming to pit road. And he was the first truck a lap down, meaning he could get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap if the caution were to fly. But now Brennan Newberry is the first truck a lap down, so Sauter finds him in a position to where that isn't going to happen on the next caution.
Sauter came in with a 7-point advantage over Matt Crafton. If you update the standings where they are on track, it would be Crafton 4 in front of Sauter and Ryan Blaney 15 behind. Blaney was 13 points back when the night began.
Ryan Blaney's had a truck that's run up in the top 5 this entire night. What looked to be Kyle Busch now has a good shot on the bottom of the racetrack.
Squeezes him up, uses the lap truck of Michael Afferrano. New leader, Kyle Busch back out front with 16 laps to go.
Used the lap truck as a pick there. What a great move by Busch. Was able to get around Dillon. Now can Matt Crafton pull off the same thing and chase Kyle Busch down and win this race? Crafton's been really strong all year long. Again, he finds himself in a position to contend for a win. Our defending series champion trying to make it 2 in a row, something that's never been done before in the Truck Series.
Talked about Johnny Sauter, 1 lap down in the 14th position, and a good battle behind him for a spot in the top 10. That's the 21 of Joey Coulter and the 99 of Brian Silas.
Love that. Love that Brian Silas is racing hard inside the top 10 on this 1.5 miles. Here comes Matt Crafton. He's going to do away with Dillon as well.
So Matt Crafton trying to get by for the 2nd position. And with 15 laps to go, we'll see if he can do anything with race leader Kyle Busch, who now has a lead nearing a 2nd as he comes back to the start-finish line. The 20 now back in the 3rd position, Hermie.
Adam, this truck has just been too tight to carry speed through the center of the corner pretty much all night. Austin has really done a good job of maintaining his track position and holding the lead as long as possible, but they have not been able to get this truck to rotate as good as Austin needed to stay up front. Ray?
Ryan Blaney is back to 12th position right now in his Cooper Standard Ford. He came on the radio about 4 laps ago and said, guys, I believe we are losing a cylinder. We're going to try to ride this thing out and hope for the best.
He's 22 seconds back, Ray, in the final truck right now being scored on the lead lap.
And he's running about a 2nd slower than our leader, Kyle Busch, is right now.
It'll be the 3rd time he's finished outside the top 10, talking about Ryan Blaney in the last 4 races. Of course, sandwiched in between all that, his 3rd career victory at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but not the period in the season you need for that to happen.
I think Ryan Blaney probably needs a caution flag to remain on the lead lap. at the pace, 24 seconds behind right now with 12 laps to go. He will get lapped here before the end of this race.
That's a terrible feeling to have something going wrong with your truck, like you said, Adam, especially with the troubles they've had lately. That truck just didn't perform at Bristol. He couldn't get the handling down right. They had a problem with their nose up at Michigan that caused them a bad finish there. And now trouble again.
Saw Blaney going into turn one, and here comes race leader Kyle Busch.
Here comes the heat.
These kids brought it all weekend long. Qualifying rained out for Sprint Cup cars here yesterday. Kyle Busch was quickest in practice. That means he will start on the pole in race one of the chase tomorrow. Top 5 run after leading a bunch of laps in the nationwide race earlier today, and looks like he's going to have the truck to get it done here this evening as we come to 10 laps remaining in the Lucas Oil 225, and the advantage for Kyle Busch 1.6 seconds over second place Matt Crafton.
Brian Silas is holding off Joe Nemechek. Silas in the 9th place. Talked about the success that Joe Nemechek has had this season driving this truck, sharing it with his son John Hunter Nemechek. Both of the Nemecheks have been impressive in this 8 truck.
Brian Silas had his career best earlier this year at Texas, finished 8th. Looks like he's in line for another top 10 here.
It's got to be a great feeling for Silas. Like I said, in practice, he was running with the leaders. Made a note of that. Watch for Brian on the race. In the race, and he's proven to have the truck to keep up with the guys up front.
Well, this is what you like to see. So many teams in the Camping World Truck Series come to every race, work hard, don't get the fruits of their labor. On a night like this, when they're running inside the top 10, kind of keeps you going as a club.
That's exactly right. And you know, Adam, it's great to see progress too. This team has gotten better and better. Looks like Nemechek's going to get the run on Silas off turn 2, but this team's gotten better and better week in and week out. Silas is driving smarter. The trucks are faster, and it's fun to watch that progress.
Down to 8 laps to go. Kyle Busch continues to stretch his lead as Joe Nemechek slides up in front of Brian Silas.
How about a great run for Tyler Young? Right now running in the 11th spot on the lead lap. That would be a career best for him. 14th is his career best. He did that at Michigan earlier this year. Nice job by Tyler Young in this 0-2 team.
Well, not the first time this season we have called his name and talked about him in a positive way.
Yeah, and just think about this. The distance between first and second is huge as far as a result. If you win, it's the best in the world. If you're second, you just taste that win. Same thing from 10th to 11th. And we see Tyler Young closing in on Brian Silas. He's so close to that first ever top 10 finish. That's a position he would love to grab here late in the going.
And Kyle Busch is closing in on Ryan Blaney. This to put the 29 a lap down with 6 laps remaining.
Yeah, Ryan's going to take another hit in the points here, especially with Matt Crafton now running in the 2nd position. If he maintains that.
But if you could lose a cylinder, finish outside the top 10, and because of the problems that Johnny Sauter also had, Blaney would only lose 3 points overall in the championship. So you'll take that on a night when you've dealt with the issues he had.
Yeah, without a doubt, with a lot of races left, 7 races left in the season here. A lot of good racetracks for Ryan Blaney.
And don't write this guy off in the championship. Darrell Wallace Jr., 35 points out as they run. And he, too, had to bounce back tonight. Had that tire issue, was a couple of laps down. He's running 6 with 5 laps remaining.
Yeah, that 13 truck, black and yellow right there, Jeb Burton, that is the 5th place truck. Bubba Wallace is going after him. Remember, Brendan Newberry had that penalty for not going to the back of the pack for a speeding penalty on pit road. Now he finds himself 1 lap down in 13th. What could have been a top 10 run for Brendan Newberry.
Well, and he was coming off a career best. He was 7th a couple of weeks ago at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And we should give a call to NTS. They've done such a good job, and both of their drivers career best a couple of weeks ago on the road course. We talk about Brendan Newberry, Gray Galding driving that 20 truck, so impressive.
But right now, someone that isn't impressed with Brendan Newberry is Bubba Wallace. He wants that top 5. He can run up there and catch Jeb Burton and grab that spot away. Newberry finally pulls out of the way and gives Bubba the road to try to chase down Jeb Burton.
Down to 3 laps remaining. Is out in front of this battle. Kyle Busch has crossed the start-finish line, continuing to pull away from 2nd place, Matt Crafton.
But Crafton's lurking. Kyle Busch catches a lap truck at the wrong spot on the racetrack or has a bit of a slip. Crafton could get there. Last few laps, Crafton and the leader Kyle Busch have run the same lap time.
Left of your screen, crew chief